Now, when it comes to illegal cannabis, we appreciate that back in 2016 and even 20 years before that, the people of the state of California decided to make both medical marijuana and recreational marijuana legal. But in doing so, they erected a structure that was going to be both a state, county, and local structure that was going to regulate this industry to make sure that the appropriate seed-to-sale regulations would ensure that the cannabis products that are eventually put on the market for consumption are ones that have gone through the entire process to make sure that they accord with all the appropriate environmental regulations and the different regulations dealing with the legitimate consumption of marijuana and cannabis products. Also, there's a tax element to it. That when it goes through the legal process, the governments, whether again it's state, county, or local, receive the tax revenue that helps them regulate these type of products. There's also an environmental regulation that deals with the growing of it to make sure that the appropriate regulations are being followed by the growers of this marijuana. We also deal with the impact of the people who are actually both extracting the marijuana, warehousing it, distributing it, making sure, again, it's done in accordance with the various laws. Even the retail aspect of it. If you want to have a legitimate cannabis distribution store, you've accorded yourself with the local, state, and county regulations, often getting licenses, which you had to qualify for and pay for in order to legally distribute cannabis products. So, while we have a legal structure, what we also have at the same exact time is an illegal cannabis industry. And again, as I said earlier, to give you an idea of the scope of it just here in Los Angeles County, we estimate that it is an over $2 billion illegal cannabis industry that involves hundreds of illegal retail shops selling illegally grown, distributed, extracted cannabis products every single day. The danger for every one of us will be exemplified in this particular case, where these illegal operations, unregulated operations, pose an immediate threat to the employees who are working there, to the surrounding communities that live alongside these illegal extraction, warehouse, or distribution plants. In fact, these illegal operations often divert water and resources, unregulated, to allow this type of illegal production to occur. And so let me give you an example of how this actually is played out in the case I'm about to describe. And when I describe this case, please bear this in mind. Everything I say today is not evidence in a court of law. When this case reaches a court of law, we will present legally admissible evidence at that time to convict the various individuals who've at this point only been charged with a crime and are presumed to be innocent until and unless we actually prove their guilt in a court of law beyond a reasonable doubt to a unanimous jury. So what you hear me describe today are allegations made in a complaint that has been filed against these various individuals and not evidence that we certainly intend to present in a court of law. So you will hear that that two individuals, and they are identified down at my far left, Ted Chen and Han Quan Zhou, have been charged with very serious crimes related to the illegal cannabis industry, but more importantly, the murder of 5 different individuals in connection with explosions that occurred at 2 of their extraction facilities, or extraction labs, one in Irwindale, one in South El Monte. What you'll hear is that Ted Chen, who is 53 years old from Temple City, he faces 5 counts of murder, 2 felony counts of arson causing great bodily injury, 8 felony counts of manufacturing a controlled substance, and 3 felony counts of maintaining a place for selling or using a controlled substance. Defendant Zhao, 55 years old of Rosemead, is charged with 1 count each of murder, arson causing great bodily injury, 8 counts of manufacturing a controlled substance, and 3 counts of maintaining a place for selling or using a controlled substance. You'll see in the video screen one of the incidents that have happened that led to the murders actually occurring in this case. Because on October 9th, 2023, at a cannabis extraction lab at a warehouse in Irwindale, they were run by these 2 gentlemen, Ted Chen and Han Quan Zhou. We had a massive blast that occurred. And in that massive blast, 4 individuals were murdered. Yi Lu O, 47, of Baldwin Park. Xin Chen, 59, of Rosemead. Guan Qi Fu, 35, of Chino. And Kisnoi Oli Ong, 35, of Monterey Park. All 4 men worked for Chen and Zhao at that facility. And what you'll then hear is that was October 9th, 2023. You'll hear that these 2 people, Mr. Chen and Mr. Zhao, didn't learn from the explosion that murdered 4 individuals at the Irwindale facility. They continued their operations as the complaint shows. So that on November 18th, 2024, a little over a year later, a fire ripped through another cannabis extraction facility, this time in South El Monte, and it killed 57-year-old Borden Tony Sikarin of Buena Park, who was also an employee of Mr. Chen and Mr. Zhou. Now, if convicted, Mr. Chen is looking at life without the possibility of parole as a minimum sentence. And if convicted, Mr. Zhao is looking at the possibility of a life sentence. Now, also charged with these 2 leaders of this operation were 4 additional individuals. 36-year-old Shi Hao Deng, 61-year-old Cheng Yang Shou, 30-year-old Christopher Reyes, and 35-year-old Frank Herrera. Each of these individuals were charged with a conspiracy to manufacture a controlled substance. In addition, Shou was also charged with 2 counts of manufacturing, compounding, or producing a controlled substance. Now, this case, the operation that was given to this case was Operation Sugar Diamond. And as we said before, it was a joint operation of the District Attorney's Office's Bureau of Investigations, the DEA, LA Impact, and Los Angeles HIDA's task force, as well as the U.S. Postal Service. Over 150 law enforcement officers executed 9 search warrants on Wednesday at various locations that are identified in this map to my left. You see here roughly 7 of the locations that were identified. A Laverne extraction facility, different locations involving Ted Chen's residence as well as Mr. Zhao's residence. 3 different facilities in South El Monte, including 2 warehouses and a South El Monte shipping location, as well as a separate South El Monte office, and also a Gardena distribution center as well. Now, we thought, again, when we went into this, that we were already dealing with one of the most serious cases in Los Angeles history, involving the murders of 5 different individuals over in 2 different extraction facilities. But when we did these search warrants, we found one of the most massive illegal cannabis operations ever taken down in Los Angeles County history. Over 27 tons of illegal cannabis products have already been seized, and there is more to come. The final discovery of everything that was in all these different locations is still an ongoing process. We estimate that the street value of the amount of illegal cannabis products that were taken down in this operation is over $100 million, making it one of the largest operations of its type in Los Angeles history. To give you an idea of what the actual products involved, In the second chart, you will see a mason jar pictured in the poster board before you, and that's in the upper right-hand corner. That mason jar, that what seems like an innocent mason jar, is actually holding these sugar diamond crystals. The sugar diamond crystals have a THC level of at least 90%. The street value of that innocent-looking mason jar that's holding these THC sugar diamonds is somewhere between $10,000 to $100,000. We are still counting the number of these mason jars that were found in the various locations that were searched. But we estimate again that the total value for the entire search will be well in excess of $100 million. And to give you an idea in the closer part of the chart, these various bottles contain almost twice as much or 3 times as much as a mason jar. Their street value is closer to $200,000. And we found numerous, hundreds of these type of various bottles, as well as mason jars, in the facility that has been searched so far. Now, what we also will be focusing on, and this case gives you the example, is sort of the entire type of operation that is involved in illegal cannabis. So let's start with the illegally grown marijuana plants. In order to produce this volume of illegal cannabis products, we are talking about millions of illegal marijuana plants that are grown in this county or brought into this county in order to do this type of production. Then it gets into the extraction facilities. And this is an example. You've seen here at least one in Laverne that has recently been searched, and the 2 that blow up. We're talking about, again, $100 million plus worth of illegal products that are extracted from this millions of pounds of illegally grown marijuana. But then where does it go? We estimate it goes to these illegal pop-up and retail stores spread throughout Los Angeles County. They number in the hundreds, literally in every single supervisor's district, as well as every city council person from every city of the 88 cities in Los Angeles County. So it is a widespread illegal operation where every one of these illegal pop-up stores is selling illegal cannabis that has not been regulated from seed to sale, but has very harmful, and it could be even lethal products laced within that the cannabinoid product that is actually being sold. But then it's not just stopping here in Los Angeles County. Los Angeles County then turns out to be one of the largest exporters outside of Los Angeles County that we have out there. So when I talk about $2 billion of illegal cannabis that is being generated here in Los Angeles County, that's in Los Angeles County. I'm not even talking about the amount that's being exported outside of Los Angeles County to whether it's throughout the state of California or more likely throughout the entire United States of America, and the impact that's having on those communities. And the reason I describe the various parts of the illegal cannabis operation is that we're going to go after all of them. The people I have assembled to the right are some of the finest law enforcement officers, some of the finest regulators, some of the finest prosecutors who are focused on the illegal cannabis industry. So I want to send an absolutely, unmistakably clear message that if you are growing illegal marijuana right now, and this in our county, you bring it into Los Angeles County, we will arrest you, we will prosecute you, and we will make sure you are punished to the full extent of the law. If you are engaged in illegal extraction operations, and we've seen the damage that can occur, and let me give you one more highlight of what could have occurred in this case. You see that illegal extraction indication up in Laverne. We estimate that an enormous amount of butane tanks, because this is a butane honey oil extraction process, were brought into that area of Laverne. Had the same type of explosions gone off that went out in Irwindale, that went off in South El Monte, that then occurred in this sort of wildfire area in Laverne, the amount of potential for loss of human life could have been enormous. Loss of homes, loss of businesses, the millions upon millions of dollars of destruction that could have been wreaked by this particular illegal extraction operation is untold. And thankfully, we took it down. But if you want to engage in this type of illegal activity, is that part of the process? Again, we will arrest you, we will prosecute you, and we will punish you. And last message, for all those illegal pop-up operations that are selling this illegal cannabis throughout our entire county, and I'm talking to hundreds of people out there, we're going to come after you with the force of law. We're going to shut down your operation. We're going to put you in jail. And you'll understand that you are much more better off closing down your operations today than actually having me make you the subject of my next press conference. So it's a warning message. So shut those operations down now, or else you will be the subject on one of my poster boards going forward. So let me stop right now. Let me take any questions that any of you might have. Because again, the impact of illegal cannabis on our entire community cannot be understated.
Can you possibly explain to us, explain what is in that photo, but some of the other things for context?
Sure.
If you don't mind, what are we looking at?
Yes. So in the second poster board, on the left part of the poster board, you're seeing one of the canisters that held approximately it held these sugar diamonds. And these sugar diamonds, again, we estimate with a THC purity of over 90%. On the street, it was worth about $200,000. And you'll see again the mason jar itself is about $100,000. The next poster board are various types of products that we found during the search. And many of these products are products that are vape products, in addition to products that you can, whether you either vape them, smoke them, or otherwise. They have attractive labels. Very often these labels are designed to go to children and certainly attract them to it. They actually, we believe, are they're labels of otherwise legitimate companies that we found this illegitimate label sitting as one of the many different types of products being offered by this illegal cannabis operation. And on the last poster board, what you'll see is that we found literally trash bag after trash bag after trash bag, hundreds and hundreds of pounds of the remnants of the marijuana after the extraction was done. So you're dealing with millions of plants up front that then go through the extraction process, ultimately have marijuana shavings at the end that in turn need to be disposed of. So hopefully that answers the various poster boards that we have. Yes?
I've got a complex question. First of all, are there any ties between these guys and Asian gangs which are known to run drugs here in Southern California? Point one. Point two, do we have an indication where these illegal grows are actually happening? The high desert as we've had before, or the Central Valley, or are we talking about Northern California and the areas of the National Forest where they're having grows that are there? Three, in the fact you're talking 90% THC concentration, that would indicate somebody's genetically modifying or improving what's actually being grown, possibly illegally. Are all these things being looked into, and how do you go after all those people if you would?
So as I indicated, the search on these various facilities happened on Wednesday. So we are still at the beginning parts of the ongoing investigation to do everything you just suggested. We're going to track where the money came from. We're going to track where the marijuana came from. We're going to identify whether or not there's other extraction facilities out there. We're then going to see where the marijuana was going with respect to any retail facilities that are selling this illegal marijuana. So that is an ongoing investigation in the various different parts of the illegal cannabis industry. That this case sort of highlights all the various parts and then reemphasizes the fact that we're sending a very stern warning message to everyone who is involved, whether it's this case, quite candidly, or any other types of operations, that we're going to come after you.
Follow up on that. Do you think the majority of the stuff that was being processed in these places here in Southern California came from grows in Los Angeles County, or is it the best estimate that it's outside LA County?
And again, since we just since we just had these search warrants executed on Wednesday, we hope to make those determinations as soon as possible, but they do take some additional thorough investigation to answer your question.
So when did Operation Sugar Diamond start? And if you could, in a nutshell, when it started up to now, what have you netted and what's next?
So, as far as when it started, we were certainly aware of the initial blast on October 9, 2023. And in large part, tracking that blast into the connection to the next blast was part of this Operation Sugar Diamond, because we had certain information that came from the first blast, certain information that came from the second blast, that then led us to the 9 search warrants we just executed on Wednesday. As to where it goes after that, that is where, as we just pointed out in the answer to the last question, the ongoing investigation will be focused on.
And in a nutshell, how much have you seized of this illegal stuff?
So far, 27 tons of illegal cannabis product
Worth over, what, $100, $200 million bucks?
worth over $100 million and counting. They're still in the process of collecting and identifying all the illegal cannabis products that are coming from these 9 search warrants.
This is a federal, state, and local operation, right?
It is, and that's in large part while we have law enforcement officers, regulators, prosecutors from both the federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies. And by the way, these type of cases can't be done unless you have this unified response where there is no daylight between federal enforcement, state enforcement, county enforcement, and city enforcement.
And up to this point in your operation, you've arrested only these 2 idiots?
Well, these 2 individuals, as well as 4 additional individuals that I mentioned. So 6 in total. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. District Attorney. 90% THC content points to genetically engineered Sensimilia method plants. Those are usually grown with hydroponics in grow houses, and they have to be in a type of tropical environment with a very high water quality resource. So, in my mind, that might point to the Central Valley or to a place that has a water source that can grow that type of plant, which takes about 3 months to mature. And it usually harvests around this time of year. So, are you planning on exploring hydroponics, Central Valley, grow houses, things like that? Because 90% THC quality marijuana has to be derived from a Sensimilia method plant.
We will be exploring all leads, wherever those leads take us in this ongoing investigation. Yes, right here.
Can you, I mean, I know it's early, but what can you tell us about Ted Chien and Hen Kwon Jiao? Are they both lived in El Monte? How long have they been? Were they born here? Are they even legal residents? What can you tell us about their background at this point?
At this point, they're going to be arraigned, we're hoping today. Once they're arraigned, we'll be able to provide some additional information through the court. Right now in this press conference, just the age I gave you, the city that they lived in, and then what's been alleged as their criminal conduct is as far as I may go in this particular press conference.
And I'm not 100% clear on how widespread this operation is. I mean, is it just throughout Southern California, Northern California, or, and I think my colleague over there asked the question, but I didn't get a clear answer.
So.
Do you not know because the investigation is ongoing?
And that's just it. We are in the process of following all leads. Obviously, the takedown that we had 2 days ago with the 9 search warrants gives us a tremendous amount of additional evidence to review, analyze, and then follow where those leads take us.
Take one or two more. Or none.
Yes.
Can you explain the charge of murder and why not manslaughter?
So the charge of murder stems from the arson that in turn led to the deaths of these four various individuals, and then the arson that led to the death of the second individual, or the fifth individual in a second facility. That felony murder is what triggers, in these circumstances, the first degree murder with special circumstances for Mr. Chen, and also a second degree murder charge against Mr. Chow.
So it sounds like they purposely set these places ablaze. I mean, you're talking about arson. These were not places that just blew up because they were using these chemicals. They purposely set them ablaze to, what?
Well, as the law permits us to charge when it deals with arson, if you put butane tanks and engage in a open honey oil extraction loop and don't provide adequate ventilation, it could create the conditions. Well, it does create the conditions in which an arson may occur, and that arson, if it leads to someone's death, can result in either a second degree or first degree murder charge. Very good. All right. Thank you all very, very much. Appreciate it.